The Pittsburgh Steelers are in the perfect position heading into the 2023 NFL Draft. So, when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers early in the offseason, you would think that they had a lot of depth that they need to fill out on their team, but they really addressed most of that. And now, into the draft, they don't really have to pick one certain position. So, looking at the Steelers, not just that, the last couple of seasons, they really had two positions that they needed to fill out in the first round of the draft. Going back to 2021, you knew that the pick was going to be running back Najee Harris. With James Conner leaving in free agency, running back was a big hole, and Najee Harris was basically a guaranteed first-round pick for the Steelers if he fell to them, and he did, and he was the pick. And then now looking at last season, 2022, you knew that with Ben Roethlisberger retiring and the Steelers not having a quarterback, you knew they were going to pick a quarterback early in the first round, whoever fell to them in that draft. And that's what they did. It was either going to be Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett. And the Steelers decided to go with Kenny Pickett. But now, heading into this draft, it's different. You don't have one position that you need to fill out because there's a hole there. Yes, there's positions that are higher in the rankings, but there's not just one that you have to fill because there's no one to play that position. For example, the Steelers. If a left tackle falls to them, they could go with left tackle. If a right tackle, Darnell Wright, falls to them, sure, they could go right tackle. If a cornerback, one of the top cornerbacks fall, they could go that position. You always want to have to pick the best player available, whether that's either position you want. Yes, there might be a higher rankings in terms of what positions of need the Steelers have, but there's not just one position that they have to pick because there's a hole there. For example, the Steelers, as I talked about with the depth that they needed to fill this offseason, that they did, looking at the draft, you would think that they would have to have picked a wide receiver pretty early, maybe the second or third round, because of the fact that they only had two proven wide receivers on the roster. George Pickens, who was still going into his second year, and Deontay Johnson. Other than that, they really had no proven wide receivers. But now, trading for Allen Robinson and having Calvin Austin come back, now it really fills out that roster more, and maybe you could wait later in the rounds, like 5th round, to pick a wide receiver, or maybe not at all because of that trade that they made. And also, looking at their left guard, right guard, you might think, hey, early in the offseason, sure, the Steelers might have to pick that position higher, but no, now left guard's filled, having a great guy in Isaac Seumalo, and even a right guard, James Daniels, and even if you need one, Nate Herbig is the starter. The Steelers now have a lot of depth on the inside of the offensive line that they might not need to pick that position at all in the draft. And even looking at defensive tackle, you would think that maybe the nose tackle, defensive tackle need to be addressed. But now with the Steelers bringing in a great run-stuffing nose tackle in Braden Fiocco and even a backup in Armand Watts, they really fill out that position and might not have picked that early unless someone falls to them in the draft. Like I said, you always want to pick a guy because they fall to you and that's the best player available. You don't want to have to go out searching. And the only position I could think might need to be addressed based off the higher in the rankings of the draft is the outside linebacker position, the third outside linebacker position, because as we know, TJ Watt has been injured with a pec injury this past season. Alex Highsmith has been healthy, but you need a third guy, and they don't really have one. And also, the left tackle position. Yes, they probably feel comfortable with Dan Moore Jr., but you could obviously upgrade that position with Chunks Secor for a right tackle and Dan Moore at left tackle. So there's not really one position that you need to have, but if we were, those were the two positions that I think might be higher in the rankings. So that's why I believe going to the draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the perfect position heading into that draft. When you look at other teams like Carolina, you know that they need a quarterback. You look at teams and you're just like, they need that position or else they won't be successful. When you look at the Steelers roster, there's not one position where you're just like, that we need to have that position or else if we don't get it, we're in trouble. So, with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this? Do you believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the perfect position heading to the draft, being able to choose anyone they want and not being stuck in a certain position? Let me know down in the comments below. Or do you believe that there is one position that we need to have and we don't have that guy, then we are in trouble? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you like Steelers content, analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I've been covering all of free agency and now I'm covering all of the draft. The draft is less than a week away, so stay tuned. Every pick they pick, first round, second round, third round, fourth round, every pick in the draft, I'm going to be covering it. So stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.